थोड़ा थोड़ा डर लग रहा है यार।
पागल हो क्या? ना के नहीं पागल चाहिए। मैं यार बहुत अच्छी बात कर रही है, अच्छी बात नहीं यार। सॉरी सर, ऐसा थोड़ी है इससे तो मेरी जिंदगी टिकी हुई है, नहीं होगा। हम अपने लिए जीते हैं, इसको थोड़ी ना मुझे जॉब से चाहिए, मैं तो डेट दो नहीं दो इसमें मर जाऊंगा, ऐसा ऐसा कुछ थोड़ी होगा। पागल क्या करना और ये मुंह मत चलाते रहना वहाँ उस वक्त। Be confident, be calm, है ना?
ओके ठीक है।
अच्छा हो जाएगा बस। 1 to 1 में तो एकदम कॉन्फिडेंट रहते हो।
सही बात है। मैंने पूछा कि व्हेन वी आर ज्वाइनिंग, तो उन्होंने कहा कि हे आई विल बी 5 मिनट्स लेट, 8:05।
अभी ठीक है। ठीक है बाबा,
ठीक है। Okay, so my interview is so it is my first interview, which is an official interview that I'm going to give here. Let me connect this. I think it should be okay. I hope. Why not? Should I connect this? Maybe.
Okay, great. Hello, hello. I think it is from here. I think it is from here. Yes, so it's good. I think it is from here. Yes, so it's good. I think it is from here. Yes, so it's good. Okay, soon I will be joining in a meeting which is at 8:05 p.m. I'm a little bit nervous because it is my first time giving an official interview, but let's see what happens. Okay, keep calm. No matter what will be happen. We don't have to do anything that. Hello.
Hey,
Good
hey,
evening, sir.
hey, how are you?
I'm fine, sir.
Don't address me with sir. You can call me.
Sir, as you my senior, so I should address you as sir. But
No, it's fine. Just call me. Yeah, you can introduce yourself.
okay. Good evening. My name is Abhishek Patel. I'm from Prayagraj. I'm currently pursuing my MCA from NIT Jamshedpur with my current CGPA 8.67. Prior to this, I had completed my BCA from University of Allahabad with aggregate CGPA of 8.9. And I'm a full stack developer with my proficiency in Stack and along with some databases like MongoDB, MySQL, and PostgreSQL, and authentication using JWT. I have developed multiple projects like a chat application, full stack to-do list, and then I'm working in a live project which at my college, which is a dispensing management system. And I like to do computer programming where I have solved around 1,000 problems in a community of all the coding platforms like Lead Code, Codeforces, and along these. And I have also achieved Pupil rank on Codeforces. And so I'm excited about this opportunity and let's see how can I contribute in it. Thank you.
Cool, cool, cool. I'll also kind of give the basic introduction. Yeah. So, yeah, I am from Thapar. Okay, I'm 2021 pass out. I've completed my BTech from there. And then I joined Microsoft. There I was part of Outlook calendaring team. Okay, so I am mostly a backend developer. Okay, but I also worked on front end Microsoft itself. But I'm more interested on the backend side. Then I joined Atlassian as a backend engineer only, and working on a recruitment product. Okay, so yeah, pretty much about me. So yeah, you are from Prayagraj, so yeah, you visit Mahakumbh?
Yes, sir, I did visit at Mahakum. Like I had gone there for like 2 days and I go there and take bath and then return to the college.
Cool. So how is the college like? How's your subjects and what kind of pressure, how much pressure do you have from college and yeah, how things are there in the college?
Like if I talk about like academics and all this, we don't have like pressure like we have in other colleges, and we just have to maintain some minimum around 40 to 45% attendance, and which is not even necessary for the PG student. Like I'm a PG student, so
Uh, sorry to interrupt. This Zen call. Can you give me just 1 minute?
yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Really sorry. Yeah, really sorry.
No problem.
Yeah. So yeah, what you were telling me, just continue.
Yeah, so
About
if I talk about academics and all these like attendance things, so since I am a PG student and there is no criteria on PG student here, so like there is no pressure of attendance, and for the academics, like we have to study around 10 to 15 days before the like the exams, then we get it clear. And I'm maintaining a good CGPA, so I don't have to think about it.
sure. Great. So I think we can start off with your resume. Okay.
Yes.
So let me just open it. Okay. So yeah, I was looking into a dev analyzer project.
Yes, sir.
So you have used material UI. Okay. Yeah, the UI looks good. With it created. So how were you able to fetch the code force, like my data using code forces handle? So were there any APIs exposed?
Yes, sir. So for the code forces, like we have the public APIs which are like documented on the official site of code forces. So when I
Okay.
researched about it, then I got to know that we have like APIs which are publicly available, and I use those API and fetch the data of the two users. Then I structured those data, and then I'm making charts to represent those comparisons.
Okay. And do this app persist my data or it's just for one time? Yeah. So there's
So
some. Yeah.
okay, so initially when it was in the first version, so I was like fetching the data, then again and again we have to fetch the data from the like their backend. But then I implemented local storage here, and then one time when I, which is like user which fetch the data, then that data is stored in the local storage, and then like that user will come again, then we don't have to fetch the data.
By local storage, you mean the browser storage?
Yes, the
Local.
browser's local storage.
Okay.
And
Cool.
yes.
Yeah.
Like for the lead code and code safe, we don't have like the public APIs available. Like since we know that around after like 2 or 3 years back, lead code started using GraphQL. Like they are not using REST API anymore. So
Mhm.
like their APIs are not publicly available. But then I like deeply researched about it. Then I got to know that okay, their API is available. Like they have not documented on their website, but actually they are using GraphQL. And then I learned about GraphQL, and I am making a backend like a basically a backend API layer that will fetch the data from the GraphQL and convert it into a like a REST API backend.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Uh, okay. Okay. Yeah, it looks good. So we can just move on to the second project. I just logged into it.
Okay.
So yeah, you've written about JWT token and RBAC. Can you kind of explain me how does JWT token works here and what is RBAC?
Okay, so first of all, if you understand that before JWT token, so I was using like a session and local storage. So where like we were generating a random token from the backend and we were sending it and we were like storing it in the local storage. But like JWT, we can say that it is a one-stop solution. So we generate JWT, like we sign JWT with the, like we have a JWT secret key, and we have some data that is payload from the user's profile, and then we sign the JW key. Then we have to send it in the cookies. So the JWT token gets stored in the cookies of the browser. Then every time we have to send a request to the backend, and if we are hitting a protected API, then we have to send like the cookies along with the request. Then there is a middleware that checks whether this like the user is authenticated or not, and these things happen. So
Okay. So my question is, so when you create a API request, okay, suppose you made a GET request or maybe a POST request. So how do you send this JWT token from the client to backend?
So basically, if I talk about like when we send request to the like using browsers, then we have to use like with credentials true. Then when we use this, then the like the browsers automatically sends the cookies to the backend. But when we
Okay.
use Postman, then we have to explicitly use it.
Okay, so in Postman, how do you explicitly pass it?
So we go to like headers and we have to give the keys and values. All this.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, basically authorization, header key, and value person.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, and what is RBAC?
Sorry.
You've written RBAC in your resume.
RBAC. Let me see. In which section?
Okay, just give me 1 second. Just give me, yeah, you've written JWT. Okay. You've written role-based access control. Yeah, what is role-based? Basically, role-based access control is called RBAC. Yeah.
Okay. So role-based means like uh, when you talk about like there is a basic difference between like authentication and authorization. Like we are using it in the dispensary management system. Like we have three users. A user can be like an admin, and maybe the software is used by a doctor or maybe it's a staff. So we have to check that which type of user is using the software currently.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, based on the role.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Also, yes, second. So this you use sockets and all to create messaging app like WhatsApp. And okay, just 1 second. So you used MongoDB, right?
Yes.
For efficient data storage. Can you kind of explain me the architecture of this app? How it works? Yeah.
Okay, so front end, like I'm using React.js, and for the state management, I have used here Justan, like in the that is the Cola chat, and for
What management you used?
Justan library.
Okay.
Yes, I have not used like normal context API or Redux. I have used Justan here, and
Okay.
for the styling, I have used like DG UI and along with Tailwind CSS. Then in the backend, I have used Node.js, Express.js, and for the data storage, I have used this MongoDB.
Okay. So how does the user request works in this WhatsApp? So suppose we are two users. How is how sockets come into picture and how do you store it? I just want to know the life cycle.
Okay, so first of all, like whenever a user is logged in, so whenever a user is logged in, there is a event that is triggered from the client side. Then the backend will see that okay, this event is happening, so that it will give the all the online users. So we have a status in the backend that the user is online or offline. So it will give us the list of all the users that are online here. So now we have another event like when we are selecting a user. So we have their user ID. So in the backend, we have a controller like we can send a message to a particular user, right? Then when we are selecting that user, then when we are sending any messages. So in the meantime, like an event is created from the client side, then it will be handled on the backend side. Okay, we are getting this message, and then like we receive this message and we store in the database and like this. So
Okay. So why did you need to use like socket? What was the
see, basically what was happening like when we send a message to the any user, So they needed to like refresh their web page to like reload the new message. That is the basic use case of WebSockets. That's why we use WebSockets.
Okay. Okay, cool. Um, Makes sense. Okay, and you have used MongoDB, right?
Yes.
So why MongoDB and not any other SQL database?
So, like in the academics, so we had studied about the SQL databases, but when I learned about the backend, then I started from the MongoDB since I thought that it was very easy to implement in the like in the beginning. Then after learning MongoDB, I have also used PostgreSQL in some projects. Like
Okay.
yes.
So suppose you have to create a app tomorrow. Okay. How do you decide like what to use? Suppose you know both of them. Now you know, right? Both of them. So what things you will see before deciding if you should choose MongoDB or NoSQL database or SQL database? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I think like as I know that in the like the companies and the industries they are using Postgres mostly. They are not using like MongoDB at all. They are using, but they are not mostly using. So sometimes like we have to implement, we see that the RDBMS is more efficient than like these the document based on NoSQL databases. Then we have to see we have to use either like RDBMS or NoSQL databases. So this is how I will decide which one to use.
Okay. Okay.
But if we like see on the high level, then we can use like both the databases, both will work. But then when we talk about, then we have a large project, and then at that time like RDBMS works well.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not true. Yeah. Basically, suppose you have a banking app. Okay. So in that app, you will have to use SQL database. I'm not sure if you know about ACID.
Passive
Um,
property, yes. Yes.
yeah, so they tell you about atomicity, consistency, okay, and all these things, right? So where we have transactions involved and things like that, okay. This is one of the factors to decide
Yes,
if
yes.
you should, yeah. And then second could be the kind of data we have. If it's structured, okay, then maybe we should go with the SQL one and not the NoSQL one. And when we come to efficiency, okay, it's not that NoSQL has more efficiency or SQL has more efficiency. It's all dependent on uh, okay, it's dependent on two things that I mentioned, acidity and all, acid and all, and second is if data is structured or not, and third is comes scalability. If you want to scale it or not. If you want to scale it further, then in fact the what you mentioned, right, relational database. Instead of relational database, you might prefer a NoSQL database because they are easier to scale. Yeah, that's an advanced topic, to be honest. Why they can be scaled, because yeah, there are different factors when you do sharding and all. So NoSQL databases are better for that.
Okay.
But yeah. I'm just telling you so that you know it for your future interviews.
Okay.
This is something very important.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I think yeah. Okay, some basic questions about just to know like how much you know front end. So can you explain me what are states and props in React?
Okay, so states are basically like the variable or the like the condition of the variables. Like in the React, we have to make like normal variables as we declare in the like the in the vanilla JS. So we have to make states using some hooks. Like the when we are talking about the functional React, like after functional based components, then we are provided some hooks that are like use state hooks, and like we have to declare states based on that so that the value of the variable can be changed dynamically.
Okay, and what are props?
So props are basically like we have multiple components. Suppose that there is a parent component and we have a child component. Then whenever we have to like pass a state from the parent component to the child component, then we can pass it as a prop, such that we pass like arguments and in the functions calling. Similarly, we can like pass the props.
Okay, makes sense. Now, now suppose you have to, fetch something from a website, okay? So you are given a API and you have to fetch it, okay? You have to basically make a fetch call, and you have to do it as soon as a component renders, okay? So how will you do that?
Okay, so if we have to do something as soon as the component is mount, then we can use a hook which is a use effect. Then in its dependency, we don't have to give anything. So if we like leave the dependency array, then when the whenever the component will be mount, then that code will be run, and in that we can write our like fetch code.
Okay, and if it's dependent on a variable, if we need to fetch, if a variable is changed, then how will we make it?
Okay, so we have a dependency array in a use effect. So like whatever variable we want it to be dependent upon, we can pass it in its dependency array. Whenever the value of that variable will be changed, then that code will be run.
Okay, and ideally, what kind of variable it should be?
So it can be like state variables when we are making a state, so we pass there.
Yeah, we should not usually use like normal variables. It should be state only.
Yes, sir. Because whenever the pages get refreshed, so they are reinitialized and all these things happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Uh, Makes sense. Okay. Uh, okay. So can you share your screen and I'll just give you. Okay. Wait 1 second. I'll just share an empty Google Docs. Let me know if you can.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Maybe. Okay. Wait a second. I have sent you doc link. Can you open this?
Okay. So I need to request edit access.
Were you not able to open it?
No, I have opened it and I have requested you for the edit access.
Okay, edit access. Okay, maybe create a Google Docs of yours. Okay, and yeah, just wait 1 second. If I have my ID logged in over there, maybe I can give you access. Uh, okay, cool. I've given you the access. You can share yours. Can you share your screen?
Okay, sure. So is it visible?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think I cannot do any modification in this. Maybe I have not.
Can you refresh? Can you refresh? I think I've given the.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, I have.
Yeah. So okay. So there's a system, okay, that we need to create, basically databases of that majorly. So we have a booking system where someone, can book an appointment, okay. And in this booking, basically a user can come, he can book it, and we will verify the payment, okay, and tell if the payment is done or not. So basically, I want you to think with respect to the if you have a SQL database, what kind of tables you will make for such system. You can just ask question and brainstorm with me. So yeah, this is the statement, problem statement.
Okay, so we have to book an appointment, or maybe like in the top map, we have to book
Yeah,
appointments on that.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so first of all, I can think about we must have a user table.
Mhm.
Then the user will come and like he will log in. So this can be handled by this user table, and then he will log in and he can see the all the slots that are available. Then he can like book appointments. Okay, so and also what did you said that about we have to also like see about the payment details. Okay, so
Yeah.
for the management of payments, we should have a separate. We have like user ID and we should have a name and email and all these things that currently leave it here. And for the payments, we should have a payment ID. And okay, so maybe we can reference the user ID from here. Let me write it like referenced from user. Then maybe like payment date and all the attributes that would be required here, like payment date. And we can also mention here for what. Okay, so let me see. So we have to make an appointment. So for the making appointment, we should make another separate table for that. Okay. So I want to ask that when we are creating an appointment, so the other person will be also like a user, right?
Yeah. The both
Like
the entities are users.
yes, yes. So because maybe he's an expert or we are booking session on that, right?
Yeah,
So
for now, for simplicity, you can consider one user is booking another user.
okay, so this is a one-to-one communication mapping or one-to-one
Yeah,
communication.
yeah.
Okay, so that like the user which is booking that will be like considered in this user table, and the expert that will become in this user table. But for like booking or we are calling it appointment, so we should make an table for it appointment. So we can say that this is, let's call it student, and let's say this is expert. So basically we have a student ID here, and we have like expert ID here. Okay. So maybe they are talking on subtopics, so we can give these attributes and all the other attributes that will be required there. Maybe okay. So the important things that are here can be like the time slot and duration for how long they are booking. And okay, now okay, in appointments we should have like payment ID. Okay, so we should reference that whether we have payment. Suppose that in starting it is null, and after appointment it will be filled by this payment ID. And whenever this payment ID is null, we will say that okay, like the payment has not been done yet, and you have to make payments. So like we will have controllers to make the payments, and when the payments will be done, like we will update this with some payment IDs or something, anything. So let me see if anything is we have users and the restaurant which is booking that will be user and the employee like the expert, and there will be appointment created. We have like match the student ID from users. This is come from user and this is also come from user. Then we have some topics and like the time slot, duration and payment like from payments. Okay. So in the payments, like the user ID reference this and amount. This is necessary. Amount, date, and time. Let's say time. We can change it later. So these things and what other things can we do? I think this should be enough. And other if you got any other requirements, we can make changes in this.
Okay. And okay, this looks good. Can you mark like primary keys and foreign keys in?
Okay, sure. So in the user, it should be obviously this should be the primary key. It should not be primary key, email should not be primary key, and here these both will be primary key basically, or these will be basically foreign keys here, foreign keys, and this will also be foreign key. And in appointment, we should I make like a appointment ID? Okay, so maybe I should make it like so that every appointment is unique. So we can have a like appointment ID for it, and this will be our like the primary key. And the topic can be like okay, duration, payment ID. Obviously, this should be primary key because each payment ID should be different. So this will be primary key, and again this will be foreign key because we are referencing user from the user table, payment time and amount. Okay, this is also the prime foreign key that is reference from the payment table. Okay, so these are my primary and foreign key.
Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, it looks good. Great. Yeah. Uh, okay, one more question I have. Now you know that in system like these, okay, there is quite possible that there is a certain user who is very famous. Okay. Suppose in TopMate you have an influencer, okay,
Okay,
and now me and you go and try to book that user,
okay,
and somehow we try to book the same slot, okay. Um, how can such scenarios be handled, and do you know what these scenarios are called, like when we have multiple API requests for the same slot or something like that?
okay,
Yeah?
like multiple API requests for same slot.
Yeah. Basically, you get the scenario, right? We are both trying to book for the same slot for an influencer at the same time. Okay, now the thing is, if the time is similar, so this happens in Book My Show as well. So if we go to Book My Show and try to book a movie ticket, so for one seat, there's quite possible that two people are booking at the same time. So how do you think like these scenarios are handled at backend and database level?
Okay. So like we have to handle that. Obviously, no two users can book any expert at the same like the time slot, right?
Yeah, but the requests are coming at the same time.
Okay, requests are coming at the same time. So like if multiple requests are coming, so like we have to manage this now. Like no two users can like book a single time slot with an expert, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you are talking about that rate limiting things, like to rate limiting.
Rate limiting
That is a like
is
different thing.
related to this. Rate limiter is more about when we have more requests than our system can handle. So if our system has bandwidth for only 5 requests and 7 requests come at the same time, so we have to like discard 2 of them. So usually in that places we have a rate limiter for our system. Yeah.
So okay, so for this, okay,
You have to imagine that both the requests have landed on the backend. Okay. Now the thing is the code will be executing at the same time for both of them. Okay. Now you need some. Okay, so I'll make it easier for you. So do you have context on concurrency? What is concurrency and how do we handle it? Yeah.
okay. So like if you are talking about like threading things and in the JS JavaScript,
Yeah.
okay, it's like so like
No, it's independent of language, like, and it's not basically concurrency is when this is the scenario of concurrency. So if you have 2 requests at the same time, okay, these are called concurrent requests, okay.
okay.
And now we have concurrent requests. Do you know how to handle them? Yeah.
Well, I don't have experience in this. Like I have not done it earlier.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Cool. Cool. No worries. No worries. Yeah. Yeah. I'll just give you a brief. Like in such cases, we have uh, 2 kinds of locking and all. Either we see there are 2 requests which came at the same time on the backend. Now there can be 2 things we can do. Okay, make them not parallel at the backend code itself. Okay, so what we can say is only one request runs at a time. Add to my code. Okay, so for that I have to kind of put a lock on the code that only one request runs at a particular time at my code. But that will not be a very great thing because then I will not be able to serve multiple requests if they are not booking the same seat, right? So it's not good to prevent concurrency at code level. Then second comes database level. So in database level, we have multiple things like pessimistic, optimistic log, which can be easily done in Postgres. There is a field called version which can be added, okay, to implement optimistic logging. But yeah, similar kind of things we also use in our systems, like the product we have. Okay, yeah.
okay, it's like something like in the databases, like when we study about something mutex logs, and we have like a lot of famous problems when like maybe like when we have a reader writer problem and all these problems in which we have to use like mutex logs.
Yeah. So mutex logs are usually used in C++ at code level, okay? At API level, you can imagine. So that is not a very good way to handle multiple requests. Then there comes database locking, which is already provided by systems like your Postgres, SQL systems, and also MongoDB and all. So basically, so what usually happens is that only one can book, one can create the unique appointment. So there are things like pessimistic, optimistic, depending on what we'll implement. It depends how we do it, handle it at the database level. But it's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I think it looks good, like what you've designed and all. Now we can move to the DSA question. Yeah, fine.
Yes, sure.
Yeah. For the DSA thing, yeah.
Should I remove this?
No, you can just scroll down. I'll just give you a problem
Okay.
statement. Okay, we can start off with very easy question. So suppose I'll just write over here. Suppose you are given an array. A sorted array maybe. With duplicates as well. Like 1, 1, 3, 3, maybe 5, 6, 7. Okay. You need to remove the duplicates. First part is you can take extra space, and second part is you can, if you have to do it in place, like within the same area.
Okay, sure. So we have a sorted array and we have to like remove the duplicates. So if I had to like, can I like do it in any language, right? Maybe in C++.
Yeah, you just need to give me algorithm. I'll not even ask code.
Okay, sure. So like I will create a separate array. Like suppose I'm creating a vector, right? Then I will iterate this like this. We have a pointer, and like if in the starting we don't have any element in the vector, so we will check that if like the vector is empty, then immediately insert that element. Okay. Now at each time we have to check the last element which is present in the vector and the current element. Are they equal or not? If they are equal, so already that element is present in the vector, so we don't have to insert that element. And if it's not present in the vector, then we have to like we can push that element in the last. So like
makes sense.
so this can be done in like the taking a try space, and it can be done like O of n time and O of any space.
Cool. Yeah, it looks good.
Yes. And then when we have to do in place, then basically we have to do swapping so that the unique elements will come in the left line, and all the other elements can be go in the right side. So so to do this, we can use two pointers approach. So that like we have to like here we can do like this, and our I, that the first pointer will be pointing that okay, since to this index our like the array is sorted. Okay, so we have to like move the j here, and then let me do like this. Okay. So we have to move here, and if we see that okay, so this the element at the jth index, it is equal to the like the ith index, so we don't have to do anything. Let's move ahead. Then we have an element which is not equal to the element which is the ith index. Then we have to move it here, and we have to swap it like the element at the j and the element at the this. So it will like something like this. Then move ahead. Then we have 3 and we also have 3 here, so we don't have to do anything. Let's move again. We again have same element. Now we are getting the different elements. So when we are getting different elements, again increase I, and we have to swap this. So I get 1 here and I get 5 here. Again I have to move here, and like again, see, since now here the comes the condition, like we are like at the I we have 5, but at the J we have 1, and we know that our array is sorted, then we cannot have 1 here, and we can assume that the 1 will be coming in the, if it had to come, then it had come already in the starting. Okay, so again we have to like move ahead. We have 5 here, and we already have 5 at the ith index. Move ahead. We have 6 here. Again, what we have to do, we have to increase I. We have we have to sorry, 3 will come here, and we have to 6. Okay, we have 3 here. Like it's smaller than the element at the I. Let's move ahead. We got 7.
Yeah.
Again 3 here, and this will be 7.
Cool. I understood the approach. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah.
So
We can just move with the next question. Okay.
okay, so
I'll just paste that question as well. Um, okay, can you see my screen? Okay, so this one. Yeah.
okay.
So in this, you can see that there's a threshold given, okay,
Okay.
and there's a time window of 2 seconds given. There are some running queries that are coming, okay. Suppose you have at timestamp is always increasing on the left. You can observe that, okay.
Yes.
It will be never like you get a previous timestamp query, and you have a corresponding request coming to that timestamp, okay. At 1 you are coming request 1, then request 2 is coming at timestamp 1. So these requests basically can repeat, okay. Similar requests can come at multiple timestamps.
Okay.
Now, if you see whenever the empty query comes, okay, empty request ID comes, there I am interested in asking you a question, that is, in sorry, your screen is not
okay.
okay.
Let me share it again.
Can you share it again?
Yes, I'm sharing it again. Is it visible now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. So basically, when the request is empty, then you need to tell me that in last 2 seconds. So there's a timestamp 3 given to empty request. Okay. In last 2 seconds, that is 3 minus 2 from basically not including. So basically 2 and 3. Okay. Within 2 and 3 timestamp. There were how many requests which had greater threshold than 2. So if you see over here between 2 to 3, we have greater than equal to 2, right? So we have request 2 which came twice and request 3 which came twice, correct? But request 1 came only once. So the output over here will be 2. Okay, so there were 2 such requests which had threshold greater than 2, okay, in last 2 seconds. Does that make sense?
Well, when we talk about thresholds, so like we have like request ID here, and when we you were talking about the empty request. So what does how will like empty request will look like? Like this is empty request.
Yeah, this is empty request.
Okay, and what is this? Is this the like the threshold? I don't think this is
threshold. No, threshold is already given to you. That is 2 seconds. So you can imagine a constructor in a class where threshold is already passed.